The Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 came out about 5 months ago, and during the first couple of weeks it was so hyped and everyone was talking about it. So billions of people gave this watch a positive review, if it's because of the specs, the features, the health tracking, or simply because of the Wear OS 3. So since this watch came out, there have been so many new updates, like if you get new watch faces, new gestures, even though we already had quite a few which I never used, but more to that later on in the video. Now before we get into some more details, please smash a like button and subscribe to my channel if you are new. Also click the notification bell to never miss out on any new tech reviews. So first up, let's talk about the battery life. The battery life of the Galaxy Watch 4 is not great and will never be great if you compare it to other smartwatches that last up to a week or even 2. Now, since I have this watch, I compared it to numerous other smartwatches which have the same problem, like the Fossil Gen 6, the Apple Watch 7 or the Garmin Venue 2. But there are a few little tricks you can do to get a little bit more out of your battery life. The very first thing I would do is to turn off the auto brightness, since to me it looks like the Galaxy Watch 4 is always in such a high brightness level, which is unnecessary. Even with a lower brightness setting, you're still able to read the watch face pretty easily if it's some notifications, some health stats or whatever. What worked for me if I put it on like 50%, which is for me perfect for the daily use. And maybe if you're sleeping with this watch during the night, put it on the lowest brightness settings, since this watch is kind of bright, even on the lowest settings. Another thing you could do is to turn off the always on display mode. And I know that's a pretty obvious one, but turn the race to wake feature on instead, since this one works great in my opinion. And just like that, you get an extra few hours of battery life. Also, by turning on the D&D mode during the night will help quite a lot, and the theater mode. The theater mode is great when you are at work and don't need the watch as much. The great thing about this feature is that you can set a timer between 1 and 4 hours until the watch turns back to normal. And during this time it mutes notifications and turns off a bunch of features to help you to concentrate and save a little bit more of your battery life. And if you really want to save as much battery life as possible, you still have the standard power saving mode, which gets you normally an extra 4 hours. And you have the watch only mode, which basically turns your smartwatch into a dummy watch. And we don't want that. Now, I have 2 more tips for you guys. If you didn't know, if you have a Samsung smartphone, you can charge your smartwatch on the back of it. Just turn on the wireless charging option on your smartphone and take off the case and you're ready to go. And the second one is that you can set your heart rate to a 10-minute interval instead of a continuous reading. It's not that great if you're really into the metrics or during sport activities, but otherwise, it's a great way to save some extra hours of battery life. Alright, another great thing that I love about the Galaxy Watch 4 are the notifications. You basically get notifications from every app of your smartphone. If it's WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, emails, missed calls and all of that jazz. And the great thing right here are the reply options. So once you get a message from WhatsApp, you can instantly reply either by using one of the quick reply options, or which you have quite a few. You can use different kinds of emojis, write your own text either by typing in the words, use your finger to draw the letters, which is nice to have, but it really takes long to write. And if you install a Gboard app from the App Store, you can swipe the text, which is, I think, the fastest way to reply to messages. As well as you can use the speak to dictate feature as well, so you don't have to do any typing at all. One thing Samsung just added to the Galaxy Watch 4 are some new watch faces. One of them are the live wallpapers, which animates every time you flick your wrist. This one is one of my favorite watch faces, since it's just so colorful and the way it moves looks very nice. The second one is the info brick, which looks very basic and minimalistic, on which you only get to see the most important data. Number 3 will be the basic dashboard, which is pretty similar to the info brick. It is just a little bit more colorful and the stats are shown in a different way. So maybe not that similar after all. And the last one is the weather center, which is not that useful in my opinion. You have some cool background animations on this one as well according to the weather situation, but that's about it. What brings me to the next little cool trick. You know, you can always check the weather anytime you want to, either on your app or in some of your complications. But what really matters to me is how cold is it actually outside. And the feels like temperature complication on your watch face does exactly that, since it's always a little bit colder outside when the wind is blowing. Now, I've already mentioned a few tips and tricks, but here are some more right quick. If I were you, I would customize the lower button of the watch from going back to the home screen to show the latest apps. I mean, the top button does the same thing already and you don't need 2 times the same function. And what always happens to me is that I enclose an app accidentally while I tap out of my workout screen. And since my lazy butt don't want to look for an app a second time, or I don't feel like navigating through my workout screen again, I can just tap the lower button and I can just open one of my older tabs. Now, another cool thing that you should toggle on is the show media control feature. With this one, every time you start a video or music track from your smartphone, you get the music controls right on the screen instead of the little music icon that pops up on the bottom of your home screen. So the third and last tip are the gestures. So in one of my older videos, we've already been through all of the gestures already, but now they added one more, which is the quick launch. So by doing this little knock motion, you quick launch one of your apps. I've set mine to open up my phone feature, but you can change that to any other app you want to. One feature that I definitely use the most is the Bixby voice assistant. I basically use it for every little task, like starting a workout, or I set a timer a couple times a day. It works better than I thought, even though I was always a big fan of Google Voice Assistant, which I still am, but Bixby got so much better that I just have to acknowledge her. I mean, we could have had Google Voice Assistant as well since we have Wear OS 3, but for some unknown reason, we're still stuck to Bixby. Now to a part that may look great, but isn't as accurate as I want it to be for a €300 smartwatch. The health app on the Galaxy Watch 4, it shows you pretty much anything you want to, your steps, burn calories, and mileage. And all of that looks super fresh in the app. But I am missing the accuracy of the heart rate and the built-in GPS. Step-wise, it looks all good, but if we check out the built-in GPS, it is not that great. It's a bit better in the park or if you're outside of the city in open space, but inside of the city, the lines of the GPS are all over the place. Looking at it from afar makes it look a little bit better, but zooming in destroys it really quick. Also comparing the heart rate to my Polar Asian chest band or the Garmin Venue 2, which by the way was always pretty accurate regarding the heart rate, the Galaxy Watch 4 didn't do too good. It's always off by like 10 beats on the average heart rate, and the highs have never been too good too. I mean, we can look at it from another perspective. This watch focuses more on the features, of which we definitely have a bunch, rather than on the sport mode. So if we look at it that way, it's still pretty solid. I mean, we have a bunch of different sport modes as well. It counts the reps for us whenever we're doing push-ups, arm curls, or things of that nature. And we have customizable workout screens. So we can decide how many and which metrics we want to see during our workouts, which is a great feature to have on every sport or smartwatch. As well as some of my thoughts. And the first thing that pops up into my mind is the blood pressure measurement. I mean, it's a cool feature and all, but it's pretty useless since you need a real blood pressure measurement gadget at home to configure it. And if you have that gadget at home, you don't need your smartwatch anymore. So pretty useless in my eyes. Also, that Samsung pulled off the same move as Apple did to make the Galaxy Watch 4 only compatible with Android devices. I mean, it was okay all the last years, and now all of a sudden, only Android devices. So I don't know what's up with that. But those are actually the only negative thoughts I have about the smartwatch. I mean, I just love the design of it. The haptic or the physical rotatable bezel, it just works great. You have all the health features someone could ask for, text, and the colors are vivid and sharp. And you have a snoring detection, even though I have never tried it, but just to let you know, there is a snoring detection during your night. And you have customizable watch faces and a Bixby voice assistant that works great. So overall, this smartwatch is one of the best smartwatches you can get right now. And folks, that's already it for the video. Now, if you want to see more content about the Galaxy Watch 4, click one of these videos. Right here, I have the best apps that you can get for the Galaxy Watch 4, or a whole video that is dedicated to just tips, tricks, and hidden features. And all that's left to say is, see you next time. Peace.